Welcome back, COH community, COH fans, for our second game this lovely evening here on this Friday. Doors are closing. Do you like that custom transition? Because I love it. Courtesy of Sushi Dad, who made that custom us, and it's so awesome. It looks so good. It's really cool. And now we will go into a 3 between Siberian up-and-comer. It's not Siberian Platoon from Vico. It's a different Siberian, as Tommy said before the end of the last match. And he will be going up against KoreanArmy, and that's good old A from Vico. Excellent in Vico. He played US brilliantly, and his 3 rifle into nades really spun out of control after a while when people noticed it. It was a great tactic. And it will be me, FatalSaint, casting this one with CallMeSarge. What's up, Sarge?
Hey, Fatal, I'm excited, mate. I'm really interested to see. I haven't really seen Siberian play yet. I want to see if he's good as the last Siberian. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, as am I. And this time we will be playing on a different map. This is a round 2 game, so both Siberian and KoreanArmy advanced to the second round, 1 and round 2 for day 1 of the tournament, the TFN Company of Heroes 2 ships. And we will be playing on Kolodny Firma, the summer version of this map. Most people that has played the alpha or the closed beta or the open beta most likely recognize this map, but now it is without snow. That was in one of the patches that Relic released just before the open beta ended. So we will be playing on Kolodny, so whenever we're ready, the doors should be opening up to the in-game screen where we'll be go ahead and start casting this game as well. I hope you people are enjoying it so far, and hopefully the sound will be a little bit louder. That Tommy tweaked it a little bit, and it should be a little bit louder. It should be a little bit easier to hear us talking now, both me and Sarge. So, if there's anything, any feedback, whatever, just leave it in the chat on Twitch, and we will see it eventually, and we will try to change it if needed. So without further ado, we're at the 5-second mark. You ready to go, Sarge?
Ready when you are, mate.
We'll unpause in 3, 2, 1, unpause. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
And it was a very interesting game you guys just casted. The last game was a pleasure to watch. Seeing all those tigers going down was getting me quite excited. Sitting here sipping my whiskey and wigging out a little bit. I hope we see a similar level of action in this game.
So the beverage of choice today is whiskey, I take it. My beverage of choice, as always, as I don't drink hard liquor anymore, is a very usual beer. So it's still very good, and I like it. But we do have, just as the prior game, Grenadier start opening for Siberian, not a secondary Pio, so I guess it's catching on, not building that second builder unit. You want your mainline infantry on the field as soon as possible to combat these conscripts from the Soviet players. And we do have the first conscript out right now from KoreanArmy, I see, and he's most likely going to extend that with several more conscripts. I'm interested to see if he has adapted from Vico and go 3 conscripts into Molotovs. Because it's kind of like 3 rifles nades.
It's an interesting cap order from Korean. The stuff he's capping is not connected.
Yeah, KoreanArmy, as far as I know, hasn't played an amazing amount of Company of Heroes 2. He hasn't racked up, 100 hours or something over the closed and open beta. I think he's basically only played a little bit of open beta and now the retail as well. So maybe he's still experimenting with cap orders, etc., most likely. So this second conscript squad should be going out and actually capping. But we did have a similar cap for Siberian. His initial Pio went up and capped the fuel point on the left-hand side, but it wasn't connected until the Grens came there and actually connected it with a strategic point.
Difference is, Rain is still cut off. He needs to cap that second point. I can understand why I can easily make the mistake. You look at the map, it's not immediately apparent that you need to cap that the strat point slightly to the south there, the one that's more central, in order to hook that territory up. So he's seen it now, and he's rectifying and capping. And
yeah, as soon as he caps that, he's going to get a nice resource income again. Because right now, technically, only has that one sector. And he's going to connect all of the south soon. Siberian Army, or Siberian versus KoreanArmy, not Siberian Army. Siberian is focusing on the north, while Korean is actually focusing on the south. So obviously they have different ways of going at it, this map.
Early engagement there between the conscripts and the grenadiers, long range. Oh, Molotovs have been upgraded.
Did he go 3 conscripts? Is that what he has?
3 conscripts to Molos.
Vico's Korean army goes 3 conscripts into Molotovs. I'm not terribly shocked, actually.
I'm not terribly shocked, but I also don't think he's going to be at a great big disadvantage here. I think there's so much common ground between Vico and Ko2 that, you know, there's a good chance that stuff can carry over.
Yeah, that could potentially work quite easily, especially if you get some nice 2-3 pronged attacks. But this one conscript squad gets caught out by an MG42 from Siberian. He's gone 3 grenadiers, MG42, and right now he will most likely be looking to tech as soon as he hits 200 manpower, unless he wants to extend this tier 1. Generally, I see in games on streams from various people, if you just scroll down on the Twitch channel you're watching right now, find a lot of text. And in that text, there is a community section. So please check that out. It is linked to all of the major streamers, all the people that we could think of while we was writing that information slot there. And all of the major community sites, and, you know, there's things like Ko2.org, game replays, and Ipkai Funk's little event Tumblr there as well, so please check that out.
And a big engagement going down the middle here. The Germans are clustered around that MG. Molly went in but didn't do that much. There's a couple of nice flank positions coming from Korean, though. He's also Urad, a group of conscripts into the house to the north of the MG. But the MG is fairly well defended, so I don't think the flank's really going to do the business here.
Yeah, we did have Siberian very aggressively move up for that cutoff. The same strat point that Korean Army didn't have connected for a long time in the game, and he has actually lost it due to this aggressive movement from Siberian. And he's not letting up, even though right now he is completely surrounded by conscripts, and he's going to move down south to take cover behind this P4 carcass, but that nice Molotov cocktail is going to put an end to that.
That's a pretty well fought engagement by Korean there. He was keeping them conscripts moving the entire time, keeping Siberian on the back foot. He wasn't able to inflict any destroyed units, but it was a decently fought engagement.
Yeah, the MG42 was forced off, and the Grenadiers took a couple of casualties. They're very low health as well. One of the Grenadier squads is at 2 men, but only 15% health or so. Nice Molotov cocktail forces off the remaining Grenadier squad. We do have a half-track. We have the tier 2 building up, and a half-track has just hit the field for Siberian. With a nice summer skin as well. Look at that skin.
Oh, cool. Korean still hasn't actually tagged yet. About time he got a building up.
I see he is retreating some squads, including his combat engineer.
Yeah, about time to build to do some teching. He's got a 76 fuel, so I should be able to get him sorted out. I think T2 and getting an AT gun up is probably going to be a good plan.
Yeah, let's see what Korean Army decides to do here. He has seen that half-track now. It took a few shots at a conscript squad before he retreated, so he is aware that that half-track is on the field right now, so he needs some proper AT, but he's actually going to go for the Special Rifle Command, the Tier 1 building, the Soviets. He might be upgrading, if you check the HQ chart, you should be able to see if he's upgrading to 18H, for example.
He is indeed almost complete. Also, meanwhile, though, Siberian's got his cutoff. And that's gonna really minimize Korean's income for the next few minutes.
Yeah, he has a very low man conscript squad up in the north, taking that VP away from Siberian. Siberian is in possession of the middle VP, and he's also extending to the south now to take all of this territory away from Korean Army. The territory that is not actually netting him any resources right now, as he is cut off. And, you know, it looks to me that Siberian has... You know, he's played on this map, he knows what he wants to do, he knows that of that cutoff, and he's moving for it over and over again. It is his prime target.
Yeah, and I think he's staying focused on that. His capping pioneers chased off there, but here comes the half-track to do some damage. This could
might be an 18-8 thrown here. Hurrah used to get in range most likely. The Flammenwerfer tried to kite, but he actually stopped and gets 18-8'd. As Siberian was most likely microing troops elsewhere after that initial reversing action for that Flammenwerfer. MG gets flanked, by a conscript squad. The Flammenwerfer is going to try to stop him from dying. He might be actually reinforcing that MG from the half-track. He is indeed.
And yeah, Korean is going to need to get himself some more robust AT. Much like Stickies in Vico, AT grenades are really only a stopgap measure, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it is a soft counter to any vehicles from the German army. You can't really kill him unless you start throwing multiple 18-8s, and that's very expensive when it comes to munitions. The second one is going to go in, do a little bit of damage, but the half-track is still at only 40% health or so, so he's going to be able to fry these conscripts in the center. At the same time, the two-man conscript squad from the north was forced off by a grenadier squad from Siberian, so he's recapping all of that territory up there as well.
And Korean has just taken to a sniper. What is he doing?
Good question. Very good question. His main problem now is knocking out this vehicle, and with 18-8 it's just not going to be plausible, especially not now, as the pioneers from Siberian is actually going to start repairing that half-track at the same time as they are capping the center VP. So obviously that is different from Company of Heroes 1 to Company of Heroes 2. You no longer have to stand around touching that flagpole to cap it. Now you only have to stand in the vicinity, the capping circle around the point to actually cap it. So you can do different things.
Come on, Fatal. Admit it, mate, you missed touching the flagpole.
That was a terrible euphemism from my side. The Grants get out of the building. I think he was suspecting a Molotov, which actually does get thrown eventually. Here we have a bit of an AT counter to that Flammenwerfer. Guard squad out from Korean Army, so I don't know. It might be enough, but at the same time, if you can't really get the killing blow on the Flammenwerfer and it actually survives an attack, it's gonna keep causing casualties for the Soviet player, and
really,
eventually you're dead.
Really nice combined arms here from Siberian. MG backstopping, Grenadiers on the on perimeter duty as well. This Flammenwerfer is well defended.
Oh wow! That guard squad got burned to a crisp by that Flammenwerfer, and the shock troops are forced to retreat as well. I don't know. The whole map is going into Siberian's favor, and Korean Army felt the same as he quits the game after that engagement, not being able to actually do any damage almost to that Flammenwerfer. It was still not fully repaired, and I think that the guard squad only got 1, maybe 2 shots off from the PTRS rifle before being burnt to a crisp, forced to retreat, and basically all of his map presence was eliminated by that attack when he was forced to retreat due to the combined arms of Siberian. Grenadiers, MG, Flammenwerfer, forward, reinforcement from that half-track. And also worth to note is that Siberian was basically 15% away from completing his tier 3 structure in the base, and he had enough fuel to get something out, like a P4 for example, in just a little while. So I think Korean Army, he made the right choice. That tier 1 building tech was most likely a mistake on his part.
Yeah, I think he maybe felt on the back foot as well with that disconnect early on, but he just didn't respond to the impact unit. The Flammenwerfer is a great impact unit, needs to be countered.
Yeah, you need a fast counter to it, especially before it gets any proper veterancy. At Vet 2, it gets a buff to significantly reduce the damage it takes, and it becomes, well, literally it becomes almost impossible to counter with any form of soft counter. AT grenades, the half-track just eats them for breakfast every single time it gets thrown at it, and then it just gets repaired by a PIO, and it goes really quickly, because the damage the 18A does, it still causes the damage engine, which is an annoyance at best, but the damage taken is so low that the PIOs just go in there, repair for 10 seconds, and it's back up to snuff, and just back onto the field and frying Russians all over the place.
Well played, Siberian. Are we moving on to the next game?
Yep, next game is coming up, so stay tuned guys. We're just gonna take a short break this time to load up the next replay, so stay tuned.